everyone, it's Teacher Lisa here from Learning with Lisa. On my channel, you will find tips and tricks for teaching online to help you begin your journey working remotely or working from home. So today, I am going to share some little Vipkid advice from teaching online and working with students that are not always cooperating. So those lovely disruptive students that just seem to not want to work with you and to follow along on the slide. So I have some different behaviors I'm going to share, as well as some tips to hopefully help you get those students on your side and help you to get the students to complete the lesson in a timely manner. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button. I would truly appreciate it. And you will see all the upcoming videos I have on Vipkid and Outschool. I teach for both platforms, so I'm always sharing about both platforms to help teachers to begin teaching online or to continue their journey teaching online. So be sure to subscribe to my channel. Also, if this video has resonated with you, please like it, leave a comment, and if you have any teaching strategies that have been effective for you with disruptive students or just teaching in general, please leave a comment and so that others can learn more strategies to help them become better and more effective classroom online teachers. So the first thing that we find a lot with students that are just not on task is disrespect. I will get this not often, but enough sometimes once in a great while that it becomes frustrating as a classroom teacher. So you get the eye rolling, you'll get just refusing to speak, or a lot of times if it's a new student and it's someone that is older, they will kind of like look off to the side watching TV or look down on their phone. And you can tell they're just being disrespectful. And sometimes they don't always mean it, but you have to remember these kids are going to school all day as well as they are doing homework, and then they have a Vipkid lesson with you. So you have to have an understanding and some empathy that, you know what, they've had a long day and this is probably the last place that they want to be. Another sign of disrespect would be drawing on the screen, and you can definitely turn that off. So that is a great feature that Vipkid has instilled in the program, but still, you don't want to always have to do that. So when the student is drawing on the screen, it just becomes a big distraction. Now, if for some reason none of these things are, all of these behaviors are very disruptive and all your little tips that you have tried and the tips that I'm going to try later have not worked, you can always call the firemen for help and they will help you. But given with the coronavirus, I have found personally that they're not as attentive as they normally are because there are fewer people working. So sometimes I think the best way is to learn our own management styles and kind of find tips and tricks that are going to help us to become more successful in dealing with kids that just have that disrespect or disruptive behavior. So what we want to do is try to redirect the behavior and so not focus on that disrespect. If you are constantly saying no drawing or you are constantly feeding into that behavior, they're going to keep doing it. They're looking for attention, they're having fun with you, playing with you, and that's not what we want to do. So try to redirect behavior and get them to focus on something else. So there might be a great way for you to do that. I use Google Slides and I love Google Slides. I've shared this in previous videos. And with Google Slides, one of my favorite activities that my students do is they draw. So this activity is great for any age kids, especially your older kids. I know a lot of older kids like to draw. So what I have a whiteboard and then I have my Google Slides on my iPad and I will have them draw with me. So I'll draw on the whiteboard and then they will draw on their paper, their whiteboard. A lot of my regulars have their own whiteboards now because we do a lot of the drawing on here during class. So that is a great way to get the students engaged and kind of redirect them from that negative behavior and make learning fun, but then tying it back into the lesson with questions or just taking that quick break and then coming right back. Another way to redirect the student, and I actually use this, especially with my regulars. I have some younger kids that just, sometimes have an off day, or one of my students I see almost every day. So, just seeing me every day can get to be too much, and it's like, oh, another VIP kid lesson. So what I will do is use their name. So I'll say if my student is Jack, I'll say, Jack, please read, and then they'll read. Or if it's an older student and you want to give them choices, let's say they're showing you that disrespect if they don't want to be here, you can say, Jack, would you like to read paragraph 1, 2, or 3? Or sentence 1, 2, or 3? And give them that choice, and then allow them to pick, and then once they pick, you've got them, they are engaged, and they are ready to continue with the lesson. So, with all of that, redirecting is a great way to not focus on the negative behavior and get the students to kind of get focused back into the lesson. But most importantly, you want to make sure that you're praising them. Praise, praise, praise. So when they do a good job, praise them. Again, we don't know what kind of day they had. We don't know what their home life is like. So when you praise them and you're giving them that recognition, sometimes that's all that they need to get on your side. So making sure that you praise them every time that you can, anytime. And I find that sometimes I praise too much, but I think it's a great way to give the students confidence, because English is hard. And if they're having a rough day or they're just a disrespectful student, you, over time, will win them and get them on your side. The second type of behavior that is not necessarily a bad behavior or disrespectful behavior, but it's talking. The student just doesn't stop talking, and you're like, especially if you're a new teacher trying to work on pacing for your lesson, you're trying to get this all within a time frame of 25 minutes at minimum. So talking sometimes can be a problem, but we don't want to knock that spirit down. We don't want them to think that, oh, this teacher does not want me to talk, and we just have to focus on the lesson. So you have to find kind of a balance. Allow them to have that confidence to talk to you in English, because remember, our goal is for them to speak in English at all times. So if they are speaking in English, that is fabulous. So we have to find a way to balance the two, to allow them to have those conversations, but yet to focus on the lesson and the content. So when you are first introducing yourself in the lesson, these are great ways to talk and learn about the student. So this is a great way for you to have these conversations in the beginning, and then you can come back to maybe something that you know that they like. Or maybe you could pull up on Google Slides a conversation activity where you know it's something that they'll enjoy talking about. So again, talking is not always a bad thing, because we're learning about our student and we're learning what they like and what they don't like, and it cuts down on the time as well. So keep in mind, though, that trying to balance the two of talking and working on the slides and getting it all done in 25 minutes is not something that's going to happen overnight. But the more that you learn about the student and you find ways to incorporate those conversations instead of maybe just a reward, maybe make the reward as a conversation piece and as a piece on something that they like talking about. So those are great ways to tie into the lesson, allow that chatty student to talk, and to get the content done in a matter of time. So it's a win-win. Another type of behavior that I often find, not often, but enough, is the students that are distracted. And I mentioned this before. Again, the student that is looking off away from the camera or looking down, or I've had little students, little kids, that will run off the camera, and you're like, where did they go? And sometimes we just have to kind of hang there and maybe call their name and wait and be patient. And that is huge, is making sure that when you remember, you're on camera. So your face is going to be the focus the whole time of the lesson. So make sure that those facial expressions are always inviting and warm and welcoming and patient. So when that student runs off the camera, just have fun with it, be patient, and be waiting for them. And when they return, you are ready to learn. So if a student is distracted, find something that they enjoy, especially if it's a student that is an older student that doesn't want to be there, again, that's had school all day and homework, and they just don't want to be there, find something that they enjoy. When you have those conversations in the beginning, mark that down and say, okay, I know that Evelyn loves to talk about unicorns. So then you could bring a unicorn in, or you could show her pictures, or, you know, whatever it is. And you're bringing her in because you know that she loves talking about that or loves looking at unicorns. And there you have them. And they're no longer distracted. They're focused on you and what you're doing. Then once you show that piece, you can bring them right back into the lesson. Another way is to redirect them with silliness and just be silly and get up and dance and have fun. Might not always work for the older kids, but definitely the younger kids. Hey, like, Evelyn, come dance with me. And then you're getting a brain break, you're standing up and moving around. Another way that I like to share is called Move Your Body. So you can see here is wiggle brain breaks. And so what I'll do is I'll have numbers 1 through 8 on a whiteboard, and then the student picks a number, and then they get to choose what, or the number will tell them what activity they need to do. So we would stand up and we would touch our toes, or we would stand up and stretch our arms, or we would move and then we would freeze. So those are just great ways to get that brain break in, especially if a student is like all over the place and moving around. You can tell that they need a break. So that's another way to kind of get those distracted students, get them off task of the lesson, and then back on task as soon as you're done with the activity. Another thing is just asking personal questions. So if a student is, older kid and they're looking off at the camera and watching TV and they're not even listening to you, you could say, hey, Lucy, what sport do you like to play? Or what do you like to do with your friends? Do you like to go to the mall? Do you like to go get your nails done? And they're like, wait, what? This has nothing to do with the lesson. What is she talking about? And then you've got them reeled in. So again, conversation is huge. And a lot of students, they don't want to talk about VIP Kids. They want to talk about their own lives or what they like to do for fun. So use that to your advantage, but then again, reel them back into the lesson and the content. So these are all great ways to just get the students back on task, taking breaks, having conversations, doing, silly things, just finding out what they enjoy and just taking that and running with it. And then keep that jotted down in a note, especially if it's a regular, so that you always remember, okay, I'm going to find activities on Google Slides that focus on unicorns, or I'm going to find pictures that focus on crabs in the ocean, whatever it may be, but to them it's the world. And so if you've taken that time, you have them right where you want them to be. And most importantly, as I shared before, is praise them. Praise them for good behavior. Praise them when they respond to you. Praise them if they're using great sentences. Whatever it is, get those praises in, because those are what is going to help you have them at your back and have them right where you want them to be on the lesson. So now that I've shared with you some different behaviors that I have run across into teaching with VIP Kids for 3 years now, it's the disrespectful, it's the just the chatting, or the not even looking and being distracted. You name it, I've had it. And from young to older level kids. So now I'm going to give you just some tips that could possibly help you. So I think first and foremost that we need to have that understanding that these kids have been doing things all day long, whether it's school at home or school in the classroom. They've been doing homework, and then now they have this. So just having that empathy that some of them, this is the last place that they want to be. So just be mindful. Just be mindful that that is the case, and just try to work with them and just give them your best at all times. And if they do show that negative behavior, just try not to give that attention. Try to redirect them and find something positive that will lean them into getting the lesson completed in amount of time. Also, even though that you want to be mindful and you want to have empathy, you also want to make sure that you have clear expectations. So in lessons that the students have taken, they have learned they have learned the rules for learning on VIPKid. So the first one is listen to the teacher. Second is be kind, respectful, which that's not in there, but that's a given, that we're always being kind to each other and being respectful and listening. Speak English is a third, and then ask for help. So they can ask for help whenever they need, or just say, no, that I don't know it. So those are rules that they learn in the VIPKid course. So they know those are the rules. So just kind of set those expectations anytime you need to, and just say, Johnny, can you please listen? Or be kind, or speak English, and just showing them that you mean that expectation every single time that you have that lesson with them. So I've just shared with you some tips that hopefully will help you in your classroom, being mindful of the kids and their background and what's going on in their lives. We don't know, and so let's just try to focus on the lesson but redirect them and learn about them all at the same time. Don't focus on the negative behavior. Try to redirect the students, making sure that you have empathy for the kids and the parents. We don't know if the parents are working or if they're home or what their situation is. So again, just try to be mindful of that. And if there is a problem in the classroom and you want to talk to the parents, be sure to put that in the feedback, but just be polite and be considerate about it, so that the parent is willing to work with you and not thinking, oh, this teacher is super negative, I'm going to find a new teacher, and then you lose that student as a regular. So just try to think of different ways that you can communicate with the student and with the parent, and have that positive learning environment. And lastly, and most importantly, just set your clear expectations from the beginning. If you know that it's a student that is going to have a difficult time, make sure to reiterate those expectations in the beginning of the lesson. Okay, so today we're going to listen, we're going to speak English, we're going to be kind, and we're going to ask for help. And however you want to do that, on a whiteboard, have some pictures, motions, whatever, to get that point across that they know what is expected of them for each lesson. So I hope that by me sharing these behaviors and things that I've experienced, as well as some tips and tricks that I have in my bag that has helped me over the course of the 3 years of teaching with VIPKid, has helped you. I would love to help you begin your journey if you have not already begun teaching for a VIPKid. I have my referral link in the box below. I would love to coach and work with you and guide you through the application process, as well as beginning your journey teaching online. It is definitely a huge difference from teaching in a brick and mortar classroom. So I would love to help you with that process. So if you have any questions at all, you can email me at learningwithlisa20@gmail.com. And as always, go learn something new. Have a great day. Bye.